button in a minute.
Hi there. I'm happy to introduce Christy Beckett. She is a certified personal trainer and pelvic fitness specialist based in Brant County and the founder of The Confident Mama. She specializes in core and pelvic floor fitness for women across life stages, including menopause and beyond. Her approach focuses on building strength, balance, and confidence for everyday life, like walking comfortably, gardening, and picking up the grandkids. She partners with local pelvic physiotherapists and offers slower paced classes, in home sessions, and simple take home routines so people can feel better and move with ease. Take it away, Christy.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I am very grateful to be here and to share my knowledge. This is a topic that most often I hear back, I didn't know that, and no one told me that, and I wish I had known that 20 and 40 years ago. So I'm excited to share what I know, and hopefully I can help you improve your health in even one small way today. So thank you for the introduction. I am a personal trainer and pelvic fitness specialist. I am a C-section mom of 3. I have been a personal trainer for 15 years and a fitness instructor for 20. I have extra training in abdominal rehabilitation, as well as working with older adults and menopause. And something you may or may not know is that once you're in menopause, you're always in menopause. That deprivation of estrogen becomes your new normal. These things combined, but especially the pelvic fitness, really do help me stand out in my industry because 90% of us fitness professionals do not have this education. This is not part of our general knowledge. We are not trained in pelvic health. This was an additional certification that I had to go through. I live in Burford with my family and my wonderful dog, Ozzy. If you follow me on social media, he pops into my content once in a while. He doesn't ask permission. He's just there. And my philosophy is that I want you to have the best health no matter what the scale says. I personally live in a plus size body. I've always been what a doctor or someone in my industry might call overweight, but I don't make that my barrier. I don't let that stop me from taking care of myself and moving my body. And I believe that you can be the same way. You can take care of yourself no matter what size or shape you are. Why does pelvic health matter? Well, it affects a lot of us, if not all of us, over our lifetime. So pelvic health disorders affect between 25 and 50% of all women at any given stage of life. You may develop some degree of pelvic floor issues. This is not limited to those who get pregnant and give birth. You can have pelvic dysfunction at any time. Even children and men experience pelvic dysfunction. Approximately 25% of adult women experience, that should say UTIs, not UIs. And that figure jumps to 1 in 3 after the age of 55. So after the age of 55, your risk goes up for recurring UTIs. Up to 90% of incontinence issues in aging women can be improved with targeted exercises, and 70% see improvement with dedicated physiotherapy. So there is help if you're having issues. And like I said, it's not just women. Men's pelvic health issues affect over 3.5 million Canadian men. Statistically, up to 16% of men experience pelvic floor dysfunction, 10% live with urinary incontinence, and 8 to 12% suffer from chronic pelvic pain. Additionally, 58 Canadian men are diagnosed with prostate cancer daily. The other thing, and we talked about this briefly before the recording when a few people were online, was that the studies show that 65% of Canadian men wait more than 6 days with symptoms before consulting a doctor, which is pointing to a need for increased preventative screening and awareness. I believe all the statistics that I've just gone over for Canadian men and women are actually higher than what we have data for. And I believe it's because we often delay seeking help or not at all. And if the men in your life are like the men in my life, sometimes they wait until it's absolutely unbearable before they do anything about it. So my biggest encouragement to you is when you listen to me talk about symptoms and management, if you have these symptoms and symptoms of dysfunction, take action. It likely is not going to improve on its own. There is help and it can get better. So what is your pelvic floor? Everyone has a pelvis, and the pelvic floor is the system of muscles located between the coccyx, so that's your tailbone, and the pubic bone. And actually, you don't actually have a pubic bone. It's where the two pelvic bones meet in the center at the front. So your pelvis is like a basket, right? Two bones that sit at the bottom of your torso, and then your femurs, your thigh bones, they come in like a ball and socket into the pelvis. And then you've got your spine that attaches at the back, right? You've got all those vertebrae that come down, and then you've got your sacrum and your coccyx. Your pelvic floor has some really cool jobs. It helps with blood flow throughout your body. It works with your diaphragm for your breathing. They work together. It supports your organs and your reproductive system. And every muscle in your body, including your pelvic floor, needs to be able to contract and relax. Those are their functions. When you feed yourself with a spoon, when you stretch your arm out, it's relaxed. When you bring it closer, it's contracting. So your pelvic floor does that, but it has different functions. So it controls urine, feces, gas, and some sexual function, right? So if you can think in your head what it feels like to stop the flow of pee or to pinch off a poop, okay? Those are what those muscles do. Pelvic dysfunction is when something's not right. It's when you have a symptom. And sometimes there is a reason that you can kind of relate it. So visceral pain syndromes. So if you have internal organ pain, that might be part of it. Childbearing is certainly common. Overuse injuries. So if you were an athlete, or maybe still are an athlete, biomechanical abnormalities. So you may have been born with a different structure. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm blanking right now, but anything that like your spine was shaped differently, or maybe you have one leg shorter than the other, different things like that. Repetitive bladder or vaginal infections can be the culprit for pelvic dysfunction. Pelvic floor and jaw clenching are related to the image beside these words here, symptoms of hypertonic pelvic muscle dysfunction. So a lot of people will relate their symptoms like leaking pain and prolapse to having a weak pelvic floor, not having enough muscle, but actually, I would say more than not, you're actually too tight. So if you are stressed, you might not know this, maybe you don't notice, but you might be jaw clenching or clenching your pelvic floor. And that's actually making it too tight. So what can happen as a result? Things like constipation, incomplete bladder emptying, low back and hip pain, big culprit for a tight pelvic floor. Painful sex, itching, burning, throbbing, aching. These can all be part of it. And the last on the list I'll just mention is dehydration and constipation. Unfortunately, I think it's a kind of natural thought to drink less so that you don't have to pee so much. But when our muscles don't have enough hydration, they can't do their job. And it actually could make your incontinence worse. Okay. So what are we going to do about it? We need to connect with our pelvic floor. One thing I like to encourage my clients to do is get familiar with your anatomy. There are proper names that a lot of us may not be comfortable saying. Maybe we weren't brought up in a household that was comfortable saying the words penis and vagina, but those are the names. And then try connecting your brain with those body parts to do the different functions. So, like I mentioned, stopping the flow of pee, or with your vagina, you would grip your partner. The male uh, cue is to lift your erection. Okay. And then for your rectum, it'd be to pinch off a poop. We're focusing on drawing these muscles inward. That's your contraction. And then releasing them out to relax. These are part of the internal system that you have, your deepest core. And think of it as a house. So the pelvic floor is the floor. Your multifidus is some little muscles, multifidi, that run down your spine. And the transversus abdominis kind of wraps around your center like a corset. So those are the walls. Your diaphragm, your breathing muscle, is the roof. And they work together, all these muscles, to create a canister deep inside your body. When it comes to pelvic care, we want to think about the ABCs. So our A stands for alignment. When we stack our shoulders over our rib cage and sit nice and tall or stand tall, we invite better breathing and efficient muscle recruitment. Often you'll see what we see in this second picture here, which you'll see maybe a lordosis, that curve in the low back, and a pelvic tilt, an anterior pelvic tilt. And that encourages tightness. And not only does that, you'll see in the image, it's not just the pelvic floor that is affected. You're now pulling on the back and the hip flexors. Okay, so we can fix a lot of our discomfort just by adjusting our alignment in our spine. So you can see just that little tilt forward, bringing the pelvis between the heels. Essentially, it's a very small movement, helps to correct that. Just standing in that position and breathing can help with your alignment. The best way to relax your pelvic floor, honestly, is breathing. It's the fastest way to calm the nervous system and relieve stress. And poor breathing habits can cause tension in the pelvic floor. Your core muscles support your spine and control the intra-abdominal pressure. Okay, so this is our C. So we've had A for alignment, B for breathing, C for core control. Ideally, the muscles will engage and release automatically. But a lot of us tend to carry our stress and we hold our breath. When we hold our breath, it creates tension. What is our breathing directly connected to? Our pelvic floor. So one of the ways that we can help relax our pelvic floor, which also has an effect on our nervous system and controlling our emotions and relaxing us, is breathing. Things like constantly bracing can lead to the muscles becoming excessively tight and stiff. And I don't know about you, but one thing that it was in my head constantly growing up was suck it in. Make that tummy smaller. That's not good for your pelvic floor. So we want to relax the muscles, okay? And make sure that they're able to do both jobs, because they do need to contract when we need them to, and they need to relax. We're going to go through how to properly do a pelvic contraction. And this was something Linda said to me. She's like, some of these people have never heard this in their lives. Can you please teach us how to Kegel? Absolutely, I can. And you might wonder, why is there a picture of a blueberry, Christy? This is a very strange thing. I'm going to tell you. We are going to practice breathing. And for you ladies, I'm going, those with the vagina owners, also, I want to be inclusive in my language. I'm going to ask you to do something strange, and I'm going to ask you to use your vagina to pick up a blueberry. And the reason for that is a lot of people have been taught Kegels to just clench their pelvic muscles as tight as they can and relax, or not even relax, just clench it. That's a Kegel. That's not a Kegel. What we want to do is we want to use control. For men, the cue, and I don't own a penis, so I'm taking this from advice from another male. The cue is to pull the turtle into its shell and then let it go. Okay. So we're all going to practice this together. You don't need to do anything special. You can sit where you are. I am going to invite you to sit nice and tall where you are. If you're in a lazy boy, it's a little hard. You can do it where you are. But if you can sit nice and tall so that your shoulders are stacked over your hips. And I want you to place your hands on your belly, fingers touching. We inhale into the rib cage and expand the belly as if there's an umbrella opening up under the lungs. Nice and gentle. Let the belly expand. As you exhale, purse your lips as if you're blowing through a straw. Nice and gentle. Inhale, relax, open that umbrella. And as you exhale through pursed lips, I want you to imagine picking up a blueberry with your vagina or pulling the turtle into its shell as you exhale. Inhale, you're going to let it go, relax. Exhale, pick it up or pull it in. Inhale, relax, let it go. Exhale, pick it up. One more. Inhale, relax. Exhale, pick it up. And rest. What I've just taught you is something we call core breath or diaphragmatic breathing. Not only is this a fairly standard exercise for your core and pelvic floor, but it's also a fantastic way to relax yourself. If you're having a stressful moment, maybe some anxiety, do 2 minutes of core breath with or without the Kegel. Just even expanding the rib cage and belly and relaxing helps to calm our nervous system down. This is a fantastic habit to do every day. And one of my best recommendations is I tell my clients to grab a Post-it note. There we go. And my blurred screen is not showing you, but grab a Post-it and write 2 minutes core breath. Put it beside your bed. Remind yourself to do it every day to take care of your core and pelvic floor. The second exercise I want to teach you is to exhale on exertion. We are very good at holding our breath when we're focusing on something. We're very good at holding our breath when we're trying to exert ourselves. You may not even know it. But allowing yourself to exhale as you exert yourself, to exhale as you lift, allows to manage that intra-abdominal pressure. Okay? Essentially, get in the habit of exhaling as you stand and exhale as you lift. So you can go ahead and try it with me right now. I want you to plant your feet on the floor in front of you, hip width. So that's another thing. If you have the habit of having your ankles together, I want you to adjust yourself so that your knees, your feet are hip width. And if you need to use your hands, that's okay to get up. But I want you to inhale first. Exhale, stand. Inhale, lower down, nice and controlled and gently. Don't flop down if you can help it. Inhale, exhale, push through the floor, stand up. Inhale down, nice and controlled, relax, relax at the bottom, okay? One more time, inhale, exhale, stand up, push through the floor, push your feet in, good, and then gently lower yourself down. Breathing out as you move, as you lift, as you contract those muscles is going to make a world of difference for your pelvic floor. And the cue I like to use is blow as you go. Okay. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It could be a through your mouth. It could be a like a sigh. but allowing that air out, allowing that pressure to release. When it comes to your pelvic floor, like I said, they are muscles just like the rest of your body, and they don't work by themselves. And maybe you've noticed that about your health. Nothing truly works on its own. Everything's connected. And so strength training has a big impact on your pelvic floor. The 2 exercises we just did are strength training. I think a lot of us look at this picture, and when we think strength training, we think dumbbells, we think hard work, we think sweat. That's not necessarily the case. You can strengthen just by contracting and releasing. If you were to do 10 sit to stands, okay, like we just did, those are squats. You need squats to get off the toilet every day. The movement that you need to pick up your laundry basket is called a hinge or a deadlift. It's the same movement you need to put your pants on. The movement you need to climb stairs or to step into your car, you need a lunge movement. We think of push-ups as being hard and you have to be on the floor. But if you ever need to, say you fall or you get down on the floor, need to get yourself back up again, you need that movement to raise you up. Full body strength training and pelvic habits go hand in hand. Just like if we needed to lift our groceries, lift the laundry basket, get ourselves off the toilet, adding that breath is the pelvic habit that helps take care of our pelvic floor. It is recommended to strength train 2 to 3 times a week to build and maintain your muscle mass. Simple daily habits can make a huge difference, like adjusting your posture, remembering to breathe, how you sit, how you stand, and how you lift. One of my newest clients, we have a running joke. She tells me, Christy, I'm bad at breathing. I said, you're not bad at breathing. It's just no one really taught us this. No one really taught us how to manage our pelvic floor. Another thing that I think can get kind of mixed up in kind of diet culture and the old fitness mentality is that consistency is actually more important than intensity. Your workout, your movement, your exercise does not have to be hard. It does not have to be sweaty. It does not have to be painful. And it's actually more important that you get regular movement with your breath and alignment in the right places as a long-term habit. That will take you much farther and help you far better with your mobility, your aches and pains, than if you just do a really hard workout once in a while. Okay, we want consistency. And then working with a pelvic fitness specialist means that your exercise plan is built around your body, your symptoms, and your goals. I also really want to hammer this in because I think that this is something I do hear a lot, which is it's too late for me. I'm too far gone, Christy. Dear friend, I am so happy to meet you today and tell you it's never too late. And in fact, I don't know how it is that this came to be, that God brought these people into my lives this last year, but I've had 3 women start strength training for the first time in their lives, all 3 of them at age 70. I have trained a 90-year-old. It's never too late. Never, ever. Please take care of yourself. Give yourself the best health that you can. So I offer fitness classes in Burford. I would love for you to join me. We have a new session starting next week, Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. And I also have in-home personal training and online services. I have my phone number and my email there, but I also want to give you guys something a little extra. I want to do something special for you. And so if you just want to have a consult, you don't know whether you want to work with me, or maybe you have an issue and you're not sure what to do about it or who to talk to or what might fix it at home even. And so I'd like to give you 50% off that consult with me. On the handout, there's a QR code and the code for it, but you get 50% off of that consult with me. And my last encouragement to you today is don't be afraid to start simple, but you do have to start.